Dearest friends, I'm closing out the year with a few reflections on 2025, some plans for the year ahead, and a quiet New Year's prayer for peace we'll call the tip of the Peaceberg. That's Teo drinking some water. Most important, I am so very grateful for you, whether you're listening on December 31st, 2025, or finding this episode sometime later in the shared pod sphere of peace. Oh, he's pretty thirsty. This year brought a lot of work, much of it rooted in the same question that started this podcast 4 years ago. Whoa, he's so thirsty. How do we learn peace seriously when we're not in a formal program and in a world of war and weapons? Side note on my dog, he won't drink for many hours, and then he drinks for a long time right when I start to record. He's like a camel. In 2025, I released Mono Mutante, Book 6 in the Page of the Water Dog Saves the Planet series on our crazy food systems and dedicated to my father and brother. I also ran my first Kickstarter campaign where I released 2 companion works to One More Year, a 10-minute pocket play called The Hilltop Pact, and a short nonfiction book, Peace Stuff Enough. All of these ask us to keep our stuff longer and buy less stuff. Thank you so much for following along and for your support. He's still drinking. The podcast itself became a daily practice. We moved through series like Wolff Peace, based on Robert Paul Wolff's Political Man and Social Man, The Great Disfarmament, The Great Disarmament, and Architects of Enough. We also introduced the Next Peacelands, an outro that grounded us in the realities of the world as it is, naming active war zones, death counts, and the largest weapons exporters. Over the holidays, we just finished honoring spiritual organizations who quietly and persistently work for peace. For a complimentary summary ebook of 2025, just go to aviscolvesbeck.com/2025 or click the link in the show notes. We are on rapid fire content overload 24/7, so you can get a no-rush summary of any of these meaningful to me and hopefully to you too episodes. And of course, there are the funny ones in there too. We met Kitty O'Compost in 2025. When I began this podcast, I used the phrase peace scholar as an inspiration. I didn't record much in the years I was caring for my mom. I kind of feel like the podcast grew up in 2025. Maybe Pieces Here went to high school, a volleyball game of peace here, a disarmament essay of peace there. In 2026, Pieces Here goes to college. While it may not come with a diploma, there will be daily curriculum with learning goals. This year asks a simple and serious question. What happens if ordinary people study peace with the same rigor we apply to war, financial markets, or productivity? Listeners are invited to become peace scholars, not with tuition, but with attention and heart. Each episode will approach peace through 2 equally weighted traditions, lived moral practice and careful inquiry, what we might call Gandhian peace and the peace laboratory. Some days will begin with conscience, other days with evidence, and neither is going to outrank the other. We'll speak plainly, even when that means insisting on words that make people uncomfortable. Unweaponed, the end of killing, the great disarmament, commons councils. The show will move steadily enough to stay relevant and playful enough to elevate meaningful stories, sometimes satire. While these ideas are still in the drawing room, there will be a standing invitation to pick your peace experiment for the day. How will we measure success? It may not be easily seen. If we borrow from the Taoist wisdom, the truest work leaves no footprints in the forest. Still, a few intentions stand out for where this learning might lead by December 31st, 2026. A shared literacy in what it means to live unweaponed. A deeper historical understanding of how peace has actually been made. A steadier internal posture rooted in attention, nature, and restraint. A growing ability to imagine peace, not as fantasy, but as a vivid path. Fiction will play a central role in this work, not as escape, but as a testing ground for peace in motion. And speaking of fiction, tomorrow we begin a new 13-episode series, The Peace Experiments, Experiment 0. A humming government facility, a skeptical fact-checking goat, and a classroom full of teens collide when reporter Kitty Ocampos begins investigating the myths that keep peace just out of reach. The Peace Experiments explores what happens when young people finally ask the questions adults avoid. I hope you'll join us. If you haven't already, tap follow or subscribe so you don't miss the beginning of this next episode chapter. Thank you for being here. I'll see you on the other side of the year. If you're comfortable staying a few more moments with me to envision our future peace, please close your eyes if it is safe to do so. The tip of the Peaceberg prayer. How grateful I am for everything in my life. The rain that is falling, my children, my dog and cat. For the thousands of birds making their way south over my house under the Pacific Flyway. How good it is to know that God is in all things, omniscient, omnipresent, omnificent, in and of everything. And if this universal love spirit is in all things, it dwells in me and in everything and everyone within the sound of my voice. In you, all the two-leggeds, four-leggeds, swimming, flying, creeping, all beings, all things. And the truth of peace is here now. We see the tip of the Peaceberg, the illusion of a tiny portion of peace, but the divine truth of peace is that war is an illusion, that we are an unweaponed people as our birthright among the other beings on the planet, also unweaponed, is our divine truth. We stand together on this last day of 2025 in this truth of peace. Peace love, peace justice, peace truth, peace harmony, peace abundance, a peace of all peace. I am so happy to know this truth. I am elated and dance like a kindergarten girl just given the wand to wake my friends with sparkle dust. And I release this prayer of peace and just say, and so it is. Amen. Peace and love to you all. Avis and Teo and Eddie.